New Mexico legalized growing, selling, and consuming cannabis for recreational use in 2021, but the state also set up rules and regulations for doing it. In the years since, the industry has become so big, regulators who work for the state's Cannabis Control Division say they need a better system to enforce the rules. Right now, if the division revokes a cannabis license, regulators lose authority to enter that facility, and they must refer everything over to law enforcement. Regulators say the law needs to change to give them more power when it comes to enforcement. They say they need to be able to conduct criminal investigations at farms and dispensaries rather than just act as inspectors, and they want the power to confiscate illegal and unsafe plants or products. Leaving enforcement up to cops hasn't worked because they haven't made cannabis law a top priority. That's what Clay Bailey, the superintendent of the Regulation and Licensing Department, told lawmakers during a committee hearing on October 16th last year. So enforcement is not happening swiftly. Todd Stevens, the state's cannabis division boss, spent a little time with me last week to lay out his case for a new enforcement bureau.
We want to try to unburden those law enforcement partners that we work with and give it that authority back to us so they can focus on those while we focus on some of these cannabis-specific crimes that would have a potential to happen in the regulated market.
Lawmakers have introduced House Bill 10 to shift the enforcement burden and establish a new policing bureau under the State Regulation and Licensing Department. 6 certified and specially trained officers would staff the bureau. They would focus on criminal law violations, such as selling gray market products from out of state in New Mexico stores. House Bill 10 sponsors are proposing $1.5 million to stand the new bureau up. 2 of the 5 sponsors of HB 10 have spoken about their vision for the future of cannabis regulation. Representative Doreen Gallegos from Doña Ana County wrote to me via email, "The Cannabis Control Division needs more authority to ensure that every license holder in New Mexico is playing on the same legal field and have the authority to address illegal operations. We need to do everything we can to make sure New Mexico customers are purchasing New Mexico-made, legal, and safe products." Another Democratic sponsor from Bernalillo County, Representative Marion Matthews, an ex-prosecutor, explained why efficient enforcement is important, saying if a lot of rule-breaking is tolerated due to poor regulation, then an atmosphere is created in which it becomes easier and easier for rule breakers to step up their infractions. She noted that appropriate responses can be the deterrent to escalation. A skeptic of the bill is Duke Rodriguez, CEO of Ultra Health, the largest cannabis company in the state. Rodriguez expressed the concern that the benefits of an enforcement bureau wouldn't be seen until years down the line, and that solutions need to be implemented now. He says giving more tools to law enforcement to, quote, get it done, end quote, is a better idea. CCD Director Stevens explained the peace officers would be specialized in cannabis law, and
we would still follow due process. We would still go get court orders. All of this would be done through orders from the court, whether we filed an injunction or a temporary restraining order. We are kind of the experts in this cannabis landscape. We're really doing this for the health and safety of New Mexico, as well as the help that this will give our good faith regulated business operators that are struggling against the illicit market. But most definitely it will help with public health and safety. Again, I urge anyone who is purchasing cannabis that is of the legal age, please purchase those at legally licensed establishments. You're getting safe, regulated, tested products. These products in the illicit market don't follow those and can be a danger to public health and safety.
The financial impact report estimated if this bill is signed into law, the CCD can expect to collect at least double the amount of penalty fines a year, which bring the total to around $300,000. Fines are deposited into the education fund.
For me, when I see legislation on cannabis, I think about the long history that our state and around the country we've had in battling the war on drugs and who really has been targeted during the war on drugs, especially in our communities, our Black, Indigenous, Latino communities that have been targeted. As this legislation moves forward, I'd really like to see from our RLD and from our Cannabis Control Department and how this will be regulated, that we are still pursuing justice in how we are regulating this industry and ensuring that we are not continuing to perpetuate this cycle that didn't work originally in how we're designing policy. Thank you.
After unanimous passage, HB 10 is headed for the Judiciary Committee, where its prospects got a boost earlier this week when the governor endorsed the bill. This is UNM reporter Micaela DePauli.